Geeks with Beards. Podcast.
All this for a child you met yesterday.
Wanda, you are justifiably angry. You had to make terrible sacrifices.
I blew a hole through the head of the man I loved. And it meant nothing. Do not speak to me of sacrifice, Stephen Strange. If you give me what I want, I'll send you to a world where you can be with Christine.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special two-part episode of the Geeks with Beards podcast, where we will be covering the House of M. And today we'll be talking about issues 1 through 4. But before we get on to that, Shaun, what's been going on since our last episode, man?
Well, we survived the snow.
Fuck the snow, man.
Snowpocalypse 2026.
I think where I live, I think I got like 10 inches, man.
We got approximately 3 3/4 hot dogs worth. It's about 16 inches.
I've seen that video. I'm like, I've never seen anybody make snow with hot dogs before.
That was great.
That was funny as hell.
For listeners, I was at a friend's house and I got snowed in there, and what she did was she put hot dogs on a skewer stick. So we measured out because she didn't have a measuring tape to go that tall. It was great.
And these were regular hot dogs. These weren't bun length. These were regular hot dogs.
They weren't the jumbo ones.
Yeah. It was funny. Yeah, it was good. I loved that, man.
But other than that, I actually went to the theater and saw a movie.
What'd you see, man?
Dracula.
Oh, I seen a couple of trailers for it. How was it?
The best Dracula movie I've ever seen.
Ooh, even better than Bram Stoker's?
Yes.
Bram Stoker's Francis Ford Coppola. That one, yeah.
In my opinion, yes.
Okay.
This was fantastic.
Okay. Cool.
I highly recommend you go see it.
I've seen some trailers for it. I didn't watch a lot of it, and I didn't give a lot of thought to it, but I was like, okay, another Dracula.
Well, it's like a love story, but it's got some like comedic moments in it, but it's not like stupid funny. But
okay.
And the actor that plays Dracula is perfect.
Okay. But now, are they sticking to kind of the traditional story, do you think?
It's a lot more backstory.
Okay.
It's kind of like, I don't know what to compare it to. Maybe like Interview with a Vampire-esque, not like shot-wise, but like in written-wise, I guess you'd say.
So Dracula's kind of telling you his story in a way?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
You see the story unfold, but he tells part of it too, so it's just really good. You need to go see it.
I was going to say, they've been pumping out some vampire movies. We got this one last year. Was it last year or 2024? We got Nosferatu.
Yeah.
And then with Skarsgård. And then not too long before that, we got Abigail. So they've been pumping out some vampire movies lately, Hollywood has, for sure.
Yeah, other than what we're going to talk about today, I haven't read anything, but that's about it for me. What about you?
I got a few new comics in the other day. I shared it on our socials. I've read the Thundar #1. Oh, if you like the cartoon, then I think you really like the comic. I love the comic. The first issue is really, really good. And then I read, what was the other one? My new Thundercats. And it's beginning the crossover with the Silverhawks, I think. And so it was really good. I still got to read G.I. Joe and Void Rivals, but those were good. As far as watching anything, because a couple of our podcast friends covered these movies, I watched the Super Inframan. It's like a Chinese tokusatsu, and I found it on YouTube. It's a fun movie. It's like 78 or something like that. Kind of makes you think it's in the vein of Ultraman.
Okay, but
it's done by the Chinese people, and it's really good. I liked it. It's really cool. And then another one that I watched was I think it was called 5 Deadly Venoms. It's a Shaw Brothers movie, kind of a kung fu movie from the 70s. And basically you've got these 5 characters that are trained in the ways of like 5 of the deadliest animals. I'm terrible at this, and Pete will hate me for this because I forget the names of all of them. But I think it's like scorpion, snake, toad, centipede, and the fifth one's going to piss me off next. I forgot what it was now. But it's a good one, too. It's a 70s movie. It's a Shaw Brothers Kung Fu movie. It's really good. I watched those. Both of them on YouTube. Pretty good quality, too. Pretty good quality on those. I think, yeah, that's about it for me, too.
Sweet.
Been about it for me, too, man. So we will jump into this. House of M, number 1 through number 4 today. And this story is going to bring you some sadness, some anger. Somebody deserves to die, but you know.
I know.
But this was written by the amazing Brian Michael Bendis. Art by Oliver Copiel. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. From 2005. But before we get into this, we're going to go to where it all began, and Shaun's going to talk to us a little bit about Avengers Disassembled.
All right, so this takes place in the main Avengers book. Oh, well, I guess it's like a little mini-series after the main Avengers book. Mm-hmm. But it's Brian Michael Bendis and David Finch on this one.
Okay.
It started in the end of 2004. And it starts out, Jack of Hearts had died earlier this year, saving Scott Lang's daughter.
Okay.
Well, all of a sudden, he's showing up to Avengers Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And he's confronted by Ant-Man, and he just all of a sudden explodes.
Oh, like kamikaze.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And it takes, half the mansion out. Okay, so next you cut to Tony. He's giving a speech at the United Nations with Scarlet Witch and Hank Pym. He starts losing his cool. He starts acting drunk. And he starts going off on one of the representatives for, what's Dr. Doom's land?
Latveria.
Yeah, Latveria.
Yeah.
So he starts, threatening to kill him right there on the spot.
Oh, shit.
So they, escort him out.
Yeah.
Tony's, losing his shit. And, all right. So that's going on. And was Jarvis the butler in all the books you read?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. What I did read, I'm pretty sure Jarvis was the butler, yeah.
Because it was just the movie that he was, the voice or
As
whatever.
far as I remember, he was a real-life human being in the comics that I read, yeah.
Okay, so we cut to S.H.I.E.L.D. and fellow Avengers or actually, before I even get to that, Vision all of a sudden is crashing next to the mansion in a Quinjet.
Okay.
Okay? He, out of the wreckage, Vision comes out, and he's like, I'm not in control of what's about to happen. And then he releases 5 Ultron robots.
Okay, so he's conscious of what's going on, but he knows he can't control himself.
Yes.
Okay, but now everybody else, I wonder, were they aware that they were acting different from what they normally would?
At this point, no.
No? Okay.
Yeah, they're not sure what's going on.
Okay, got you.
Which Vision was originally created by Ultron.
Yep, mm-hmm.
And Ultron was originally created by Hank Pym.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well...
Except in the movie, didn't they switch it around? Tony built Ultron?
Yeah.
In the movies? That's what I thought, yeah.
And that's why I pointed out, because it is slightly different than the movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Avengers were, trying to fight these Ultron robots. And She-Hulk is getting pissed. Okay. So she rips Vision apart.
Ooh, okay.
They get things under control. Tony shows up, and he starts telling the drunk story, how he's going to get kicked out of the United Nations.
He's like, I hit the sauce, damn it.
Yeah, and some of the Avengers don't believe it, he's sober.
Well,
they thought he,
I was going to say, yeah.
So you get S.H.I.E.L.D. and Fury shows up, and they're investigating all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Fury tells Tony to leave. The UN forces the Avengers out. Then all of a sudden the Kree start invading.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, all this is happening really quick.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Doom didn't say, you know what, fuck you, Tony. I'm coming over there, man. You disrespected my people.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit.
That's what Fury's worried about. He's like, oh shit, we don't need Doom over here too.
So anyway, the Kree flee after the battle, and then Hawkeye dies in the battle.
Okay.
Doctor Strange shows up via the astral plane. He's asking, what could have done this, caused all this stuff, because apparently it's magic related.
Well, you showed up a damn dollar short, man. Where were you at?
So you're the next panel. You're going to cut to Wanda. She's having flashbacks with someone referencing her two children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, because at some point she had 2 kids.
Yeah, her and Vision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a whole miniseries on it. It's from the 80s.
Yeah. Okay.
So she goes to seek out Agatha to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Why is she remembering this stuff? The Avengers are starting to think Wanda may be the person behind the magic. Beast reveals that she conjured up the children to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange remembers delivering them. He's like, wait a minute.
Okay.
So what happened is Agatha found out about the children, how they were created, and erased them from existence. So that's why they were there, and they weren't there.
Okay, so the kids were real or not real?
Not real.
Not okay. That's what I was getting ready to say. I remember them not being real.
Yes.
Okay.
Doctor Strange tells he knows where to find Wanda. The Avengers tell him about her chaos magic, how it's reality altering, and all this stuff. Captain America goes to find Wanda, and he finds her living in a fake reality with kids and Vision.
Of course.
She tells the Avengers to leave her children alone. She creates a fight. Doctor Strange confronts her, takes her down through the magic. Nick Fury finds Agatha rotting at her home.
Ooh.
So I guess Wanda had
killed her
or made it to where it appears she was dead.
Got you.
So after all this, Magneto shows up. He's like, I'm taking her with me. Nobody fights him on this. They're like, you do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
All right. So after this, the Avengers meet up to the mansion to mourn what's left of the ones that were lost during the battle and all that stuff. Tony somehow gets his secret identity again through this whole process.
I was going to say, he's been known by the public for a long time.
Yeah, and in this part of the story, he somehow...
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't specify it.
Okay.
That may have been in the Iron Man book at the time.
Possibly, yeah.
So he's like, I can't fund this anymore,
That's right. He was the one footing the bill for the Avengers. Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah.
Quicksilver shows up. He apologizes for Wanda, reveals Magneto took Wanda to Charles to try to heal her. Mm-hmm. And at this point, some of the Avengers are just like, we're done. We're leaving the group, including She-Hulk.
Okay.
They reminisce about the good events of the Avengers. So in this last, the finale, they just start going through pivotal times in Avengers history, recreating it.
Okay, cool.
And then at the very last, at the end of it, crowds come and to memorialize the mansion and the people that have fallen to it.
Okay.
So at one point, you had every single Avenger that was ever an Avenger in one shot there.
God, that was a lot of drawing for Finch to do.
It was insane.
Because by 2004, I would say almost every character in Marvel had been an Avenger at least one time.
Without a doubt.
At least one time.
Without a doubt. All right, so that's what sets us up for what you're about to talk about.
Wanda.
You leave Wanda alone. She had a hard life.
So.
And if anybody doesn't know, Wanda started out with the Brotherhood of Mutants, and then a couple issues later, she turns to the Avengers. Yeah. I think it was 2 issues after she showed up.
Well, her and Pietro both ended up going to the Avengers.
They did,
a while,
yeah.
Don't they? Are they main Avengers or West Coast? I forgot.
They're
main Avengers.
They were one of the originals.
That's right. I keep forgetting because it's New York. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Hawkeye was a West Coast at one time.
Well, not original.
Not original.
But first,
early on.
Yeah. Within the first year or so.
All right, and that will lead us into the House of M, number 1. And we open to a woman giving birth. It's Wanda Maximoff, a.k.a. the Scarlet Witch. But it isn't real. Xavier's with her. He keeps telling her, put it back. I'm like, wait a minute, what, Charles? Put the babies back? I was like, what? But he's like, put it back. But she refuses to believe that it's not real. She keeps telling him, no, these children are real. These are my babies. They're mine. And he keeps telling her, no, you can't have children, Wanda. You never could have. Put it back. He tells her 2 or 3 times, put it back. Finally, she puts reality back to normal, and we see that they're on Genosha, which has been decimated by battle with the humans. Now, quick question. Is that event, did it happen before Disassembled? Or I wonder if it happened in between.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay. I remember they just referenced that Magneto had got into a war with the humans. Basically, that's why Genosha is trashed. It's like a wasteland.
Yeah. I want to say that it was, I don't want to say it wrong.
But I say it was probably within a couple of years of this.
I'll do some research. I'll let you know.
Okay, cool. So like I said, we are on Genosha, and it's destroyed because there was a battle between Magneto and humans, military, I'm assuming. Then we jump to 6 months earlier, to where we get a little bit of a background that what Shaun had just shared with us, that she had lost control, and that she had killed several Avengers and destroyed their headquarters. One of the deaths was her husband, Vision. So this lets us know right off the bat that Wanda was responsible for what happened in Avengers Disassembled. If you didn't know by just reading that before. We cut to Xavier. He's talking to Magneto. And he's like, look, she's losing grasp with reality. Every time she uses her powers to change reality, she's losing grasp of true reality. And I can't keep putting her to sleep, and we can't keep drugging her. It's inhumane. He's like, we've got to find another way of keeping her under control. Because basically they're just knocking her out, putting her to sleep.
Yeah, they're roofing her.
That's the only way for her, really for anybody to be safe, is for her to be unconscious. Because if she's conscious, she's changing reality to fit her needs, what she wants it to be. And Xavier's like, look, this is inhumane. I cannot do anything else for her, and I will not keep knocking her out psychically and drugging her. He's like, we can't. And Magneto, he just kind of looks at it. Yeah, he tells me, it's inhumane. And I'm like, tell Magneto, inhumane.
Hey, before you get on to the next thing, you remember Cassandra Nova? That whole story?
Yeah, Xavier's twin sister.
Yeah, the whole Grant Morrison storyline?
Yeah.
That's what that was, the Genosha story.
Oh, that's what that was.
Because she orchestrated the whole thing. I forgot all about that.
Okay.
It was the E for extension.
E for okay. I think
extinction.
Either I borrowed that from you or I own that. I don't remember, but I remember that title though. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, she's evil. We cut to New York City, and I call it New Avengers Tower, where we see Falcon, Wonder Man, and Ms. Marvel, and they're gathered together for a meeting. And also we see that the X-Men, they also show up for a meeting that they don't know what it's about. And they're like, well, who called us here? I don't know. You know, and they all walk in, and we see Xavier inside kind of, I guess, the meeting room or whatever. And he's got a few Avengers around him. We see Captain America, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, I don't guess he was an Avenger, but he's there. Spider-Man, She-Hulk, and Luke Cage. And also, I believe Wasp and Ant-Man were there too, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. And we find out that the meeting is called to discuss the fate of Wanda Maximoff. And we jump back, because it's cool how they do this kind of forward, back. So we jump back to Genosha, where we see Quicksilver. And he's kneeling at Wanda's bed. And Magneto comes in. He's like, Pietro, he's like, what's going on? Why are you upset for? And he's like, I just left New York City. I just left the Avengers. They're going to kill Wanda. And Magneto's like, what? No, Xavier wouldn't know. He's like, he said, you know they're going to do that. But after what she did, what alternative are they going to come up with? They're going to kill her. You've got to help me. We've got to find a way to save her. Magneto looks at him. He's like, what would you have me do? He's like, Father, we have to do so. What would you have me do? And Pietro's crying, and he's grabbing Magneto by his pants leg and stuff like that, and he just keeps telling him, he's like, you've got to do something. You're the only one that can help us. You've got to do something. And Magneto asks him one more time, he's like, what would you have me do, son? What can I do? And we cut back to the Avengers Tower, and Emma Frost says, only option is put her down. And they're like, what? No, we can't. But basically, the X-Men are, her and Logan are basically saying, kill her. Of course, the Avengers are like, no, we can't kill her. And Logan, basically, he agrees, but Spidey and Cap says, look, there's got to be another way. And Logan's like, no, not always. And Captain America comes up to me, he's like, always. There's always another way. I'm like, no, Steve. So Emma asks Xavier if he can help her. And he says if he could, he wouldn't be here. He's like, this is my last resort. We have to figure this out as a group. You know, we have to come together because Wanda has been part of both of our lives for years. We have to come together and figure out what to do. Doctor Strange says that he is still researching ways to help her. So Emma kind of sarcastically says, oh, okay, cool. We'll just wait for him to figure it out while she does whatever she does. And Doctor Strange just kind of looks at her. He's like, I'm trying. He's like, I'm trying.
Best I got, bro.
He's like, I'm trying, man. So the Avengers and the X-Men, they're arguing about what to do about Wanda. And so they decide, hey, look, let's go to Genosha and let's hear what Wanda wants to do. I'm like, you're still probably not going to be happy with the answer because, you know, Wanda's just going to say, probably leave me alone. Basically is what I thought, you know, what I would think she would say, you know. So they do go to Genosha. And Xavier, Doctor Strange, and Emma say that they can protect the others from her if they can work together. You know, they can combine their powers together. They should be able to block her chaos magic to keep from bothering them while they're there looking for her. Because you know she's going to do that to defend herself, you know. So they all land in Genosha and they start searching for her, but they can't locate her at first. Nobody can get a location on her whatsoever. They don't know what's going on. They come up on this big building, and the doors start opening on their own. Like these big, like iron doors start opening on their own. And Spidey kind of looks around. He's like, oh. And as he's looking into the opening of the doors, we see a real bright white light. And Spidey's right in front of it. And like everybody gets bathed in this white light. And then we cut to Peter. He's in bed sleeping when a baby starts crying. And we hear a voice say, hey, Petey, it's your turn. It's your turn to go feed the baby. And we don't see who's saying this to him, but we see a picture on the nightstand, and it's of Parker and Gwen Stacy married with a child. And I'm like, what? Because I have read this years ago. Shaun let me borrow it, but this was a long time ago. So this was almost like a first time read again because I'm relearning all this information again. Because if anybody knows, Gwen Stacy is dead. She died way back in the comics. So how is she alive? And basically that's how the first issue ends. And then we jump to issue number 2, and now we're in the Bronx, where we see a little pudgy, elderly Steve Rogers. He's checking his mail. And he walks outside because he's leaving. You know, he's in a little apartment building somewhere. And he's leaving. And we see these kids are out playing in the street. And some of the kids, they hey, look, it's that old man. And they kind of just look at him. And Steve looks at the kids, kind of gives them like, what's up, kids? That kind of just that stare. And then he just walks away. And I will say now, as far as these 4 issues go, that's the only time in these first 4 issues you see Steve at all. You know, it's the only time you see him right now. Then we cut to Hartford, Connecticut, where we see Scott Summers and Emma Frost. They're having breakfast together, and she's like, you know, what time did I go to sleep? And he's like, I don't remember. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. She's like, I can read your mind. She's like, I'll make it up to you. I'm like, oh, they're married. We get a little Scott Summers. He's not a douche right yet. At least not in this scene, you know. And he's like, hey, just don't go into work today. Just take a sick day. Don't go into work. And she's like, look, I got to. She says, I'm going to be talking to the little Richards boy, whose parents were astronauts and they died. I'm like, throw a little Fantastic Four in there at the moment. Then we go to Los Angeles, and we are on the Allison Shaw show. It's like a talk show, a morning talk show. Now, is this character someone that you recognize the name? Is this a prominent character in Marvel? That Allison?
I don't recall.
Okay. The name didn't stick out to me.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. And she is talking to her guest, and her guest is Wonder Man. And he's giving an interview about a new TV show that he's the star of called Me and Mine. And course, she's wanting the juicy tidbits. She doesn't want to just ask about the TV show. So she starts asking him about, hey, we've been seeing these pictures on these magazines and paparazzi photos of you and a certain young lady out and about in L.A. Is there anything going on there? Are you dating this young lady? And he's like, oh, you're talking about Miss Danvers. No, we're just real good friends. And they're just like, mm-hmm. And we see, as he's talking a little bit, we see Ms. Marvel flying in the sky when she sees a car chase and goes to stop it. And apparently a couple of fellas had robbed a bank. And you see in the next panel that one of the robbers is Remy LeBeau, Gambit. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to run away. The money's flying out the window. And, of course, she goes after him. She gives chase, and she stops him. And, of course, Remy's trying to do his energy powers, and throw cards at her and stuff. Of course, it's not going to affect her that much. The car wrecks. She grabs Remy because he's trying to shoot his cards at her. She grabs Remy and slings him into this statue, and it's a statue of a sentinel head. And there's an inscription on it, but I forgot exactly what it says, but it was basically something like, with this mutant blood spilled, no more death, or something like that. I forgot exactly what it said, but it was something etched onto the little plaque. And another thing that was mentioned that I didn't write in my notes, but I remember them saying, was that the talk show host was telling Wonder Man, making a comment that Ms. Marvel is the only non-mutant hero, apparently, in this new reality. Because, spoilers, this new reality, the dominant species is mutants, and humans are the minority.
Yep.
And so they threw that in there, that Ms. Marvel, they're like, oh, well, she's human. She's not a mutant. Then we see Kitty Pryde, and she's a teacher in Ohio, and she's got a pretty full class. She must be a history teacher, I guess. And she asked the question to her students, who was the first mutant? And she says, before you answer, I want a real answer, the official answer, not Moses or Jesus. I want an official answer who the first mutant is. And one of the students raises her hand and says, Miss Pryde, Prince Namor? And she said, yep, that's right. Prince Namor is considered the first mutant ever in history. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. I remember about this time when they named him a mutant.
Yep.
Is he still considered a mutant in the canon, I guess?
Last as far as I know, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And he's still considered the first one.
Okay. Then we go to Hell's Kitchen, and we see Luke Cage. And it's kind of like a bar or a speakeasy kind of place that he's at. And we see another man enter the room, and he starts talking to Luke Cage. And at first, you don't know who he is. I did, but I wasn't, it didn't tell the crowd just yet. And we find out that it's Sam Wilson, a.k.a. the Falcon, but he's a detective in this reality. He's a cop. And he's talking to Luke, and he asked Luke, he's like, hey, man, he's like, have you heard anything about what happened a few days ago? And Luke's like, what are you talking about, man? He's like, I'm here. I don't hear nothing. I don't read the paper. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Sam's like, look, somebody beat the hell out of Wilson Fisk and put him in a coma. Mm-hmm. He's like, do you know anything about it? Luke Cage's like, no. He's like, I don't know nothing about what you're talking about. And he makes like a comment to Sam. He's like, how's it feel to be one of the few human cops that the mutants are using to do their dirty work or whatever? And Sam kind of just gives him that go to hell look, He's like, just shut up. Mm-hmm. just shut up. Then we see Doctor Strange, and he's like a therapist, and he's talking to somebody, just this random man. It didn't give him a name or anything. And he's talking about a bad dream that he had about this big black wall, and it shows it in the book, crashing down on him. And he's like, I keep having this bad dream. And Strange is like, well, what do you think it means? He's like, I don't know. That's why I'm here talking to you. Mm-hmm. And it's cool because they put in these little random moments of like some main characters to show you what their world is now or what they do. Because I don't know how many there was. I know there were several spin-offs, or, well, not spin-offs, connected miniseries that they did for House of M, because I've got the Spider-Man one somewhere. I don't know if they did one for every character or not.
They did several, but it was just for like the bigger
names.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember having this. I've got the Spider-Man one
So
somewhere.
I want to say they did a Fantastic Four. They did, of course, the X-Men.
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Spider-Man was good. I like it.
Maybe an Iron Man.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Because they do mention him, yeah. And then we see Colossus, my big old Russian boy. And it's so cool. He's like out in on this big farm. And he's got this big plow. And he is pulling the big plow by himself. Of course he is. He's Colossus. You know, he's the big metal Russian. Of course he's going to be able to plow a field by himself. And then we jump to Chicago, and we are at Stark Industries, where we see Hank McCoy, and he's talking to Dr. Pym. They both work for Stark for research and everything. And he's telling Dr. Pym, he's like, you cannot isolate the mutant gene. And Pym's like, but you're not listening to what I'm saying. He's like, no. You cannot isolate the mutant gene because it's going to be perceived as anti-mutant and reverse racism. Mm-hmm. You can't do it. And Pym's like, that's not my intention. I don't care what your intention is. It's how Stark's going to perceive it and how most of the public's going to perceive it. You can't do this. No, you can't do this. And he's like, do you realize how much of a political tightrope that Tony has to walk almost every day as it is, being one of the most wealthiest humans on the planet? He's like, he's already, watched by everybody. He's like, no, you can't do this, man. You can't do this, Pym. And he's like, look, I understand what you're going through. He's like, it's kind of like, he's like, look, listen to this. He's like, it's kind of like, what happened to the dinosaurs? They didn't see it coming. You humans didn't see it coming. He's like, I understand, you feel like you're almost becoming an extinct species and the mutants are becoming dominant, but he's like, you can't do this. And I'm just like, damn, Hank. Mm-hmm. You're basically saying, which we don't know, at least in these first four, what the ratio is of humans to mutants on the world. But if he's making a comparison to the dinosaurs, then humans might be pretty small numbers, possibly. I don't know. But I'm like, damn, Hank, just be blunt, brother. Don't just don't, and you can see the look on Hank's face. Like, he is not happy, I guess, with the situation or whatever, You can just, he's really distressed. And Hank's just trying to talk him down, I guess, for making a bad decision as Hank sees it. Then we cut to Logan. And he is waking up from a very bad dream. A nightmare, basically. And to me, it was looking like it was the Weapon X program situation, because he had like the helmet on and the wires and stuff in his body. And when he wakes up and he opens his eyes, he looks and he sees a woman in the bed with him. And it looks like Jean Grey. But it's not Jean Grey. It's actually Mystique. And you find out because she's like, because he pops his claws and he comes at her. And she's basically like, whoa. She's like, what's wrong with you? She's like, chill out. It's like, you didn't have a problem with this last night. She's like, your whole redhead fetish thing, She's like, what's going on? And we find out through that little exchange that Logan and Mystique they're an item. They're dating. And they do kind of a far out shot. And we find out that Logan is also a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they're on the helicarrier. And he's the leader of an elite team of mutants called the Red Guard. And let's see, I think I wrote it down. Yes. The Red Guard consists of Rogue, Nightcrawler, Mystique, Toad, and some woman they just called Agent Drew. I don't know who she was. I didn't look her up. I'm pretty sure she had to be a mutant. I'm pretty sure, but they just call her Agent Drew. I don't know who she was.
I'm not familiar with that one either.
I don't know. She a nice looking lady, but I don't know who she was. But the thing is about Logan is he remembers the other reality, the real reality. He remembers everything. And he's like, what the hell is going on? Then we jump to issue 3. And it picks basically right up where issue 2 ended. And it opens up with Logan having memories of his other life, as I wrote it in my notes, but the real reality. And it shows just big moments in his life that happens throughout the comic books and X-Men moments. We see him fighting the Hulk for the first time. We see the Dark Phoenix. We see, the last thing we see is where they're going after Wanda, and then everything goes white. He asked Mystique, he's like, what did we do yesterday? She's like, what? She's like, have you popped a stitch or something? She's like, do I need to call Madam Web to go in there and fix your mind? She's like, that's what she does. And I'm like, no, don't fuck with his mind. That's Logan's problem as it is now. Don't fuck with his mind. Don't mess with his head. He's like, answer me. What did we do yesterday? She said, what we always do. We had a mission. Everything went fine, but there were a few casualties. But it's not like you to worry about a few humans. Why are you being bothered by this? And he's just on the helicarrier, looking over the railing, just like, what in the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. And he asks about Genosha. He's like, what's going on with Genosha? How's Genosha doing? And she's like, well, I don't know. She's like, I haven't seen a newspaper or anything like that. She's like, do you know something that I don't know? Has something happened to Lord Magnus? Is he okay? And he's like, what? Lord who? When the hell did he become a lord? So he basically to himself, he says, oh God. And he leaps. And the helicarrier is in motion in the fucking sky. He leaps off of the helicarrier and he freaking boom, missile drops right into the side of a building. And he's looking, because of course, he's bloody and everything, trying to get back up on like a little ledge or whatever. And he's looking around and he's looking at these billboards and, all this stuff that's on in the city. And it's showing, Magneto, and it's showing Parker and all the stuff, And he's just like, what in the hell is going on? He's like, this is not the world that was around just moments ago. And we see him in a newspaper stand, and he's reading a newspaper to try to get a little bit more information about what's going on around him, because he's just like, no, this ain't right. There's something that's wrong. I need to figure out what's going on. So he decides, hey, I need to go somewhere. So he steals a motorcycle from this guy. He's like, look, I need a motorcycle and don't give me no lip, basically. He's like, don't give me no lip, fella. So he takes the dude's motorcycle, and where does he go? Of course, he goes to what he believes to be the X-Mansion. Same location. As far as I know from this time, looks the same, I think.
Yeah.
So it's nighttime. So he's sneaking around and he breaks in. But what he discovers is that there's no X-Men there. It's just a normal family. I don't know if they're human or mutant. I assumed human, but it didn't say. And he's like, where's Charles Xavier? And the man's like, who? He's like, where is Charles Xavier? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you mean. He's like, how long have you lived here? 15 years. Logan just bolts. The guy's like, please don't hurt me or my family. He's like, just do whatever you want. Just take it. Logan just leaves, jumps on a motorcycle, rides away. Then we see him at I guess it's like a bar or something. But it's funny. I giggled when I read this because above it in neon, it says Roadhouse. I'm like, ha, Roadhouse. And he is in a phone booth, a payphone. And yes, young listeners, even in 2005, we did still have payphones and phone booths around. They hadn't got rid of them just yet. So he's on the payphone in the phone booth, and he's asking the operator to try to find a Charles Xavier. And she's like, well, I need a location. I need a number. And he's like, New York. Nobody by that name is in the New York listing. And of course, he's just rattling off other areas. And while he's doing that, he looks up and he sees that there's some mutants that are attacking a couple of humans. They're being bullies. They're like, oh, Sapiens, cry for me, come here. So, doesn't say nothing. He drops the phone receiver. He walks out of the phone booth. He pops his claws. That's all you see. He just cuts away from him. You know he just screwed up a couple mutants. Because he's like, look, no. Yeah, no. This ain't right. No. So then we see that Logan goes to Stark Tower. And he's looking for Tony. And he's like, hey, I need to speak to Tony Stark. And the receptionist is like, excuse me, sir? I need to speak to Tony Stark. She's like, sir, I'm sorry to tell you this. He doesn't live in this city. He lives in Chicago. He just owns the building. He's like, when the hell did Tony go to Chicago? He's like, it's always been in New York City. Again, another big change. As he's standing there trying to comprehend everything that's going on, the Red Guard shows up. And basically, Agent Drew kind of comes up beside him, whispers in his ear. She's like, Logan, Fury said to get you back no matter what we had to do. And she's like, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be rough with you, but we got to go back and figure out what's going on. It's like, you went AWOL with no explanation whatsoever. And so he's like, nope. He kind of, I can't remember if he punches her, if he elbows her, he might just push her. I forget now. But he knocks her down. And he runs, and they start giving chase. And we've got Nightcrawler, who, of course, because of his BAMF powers, he's able to keep more up with Logan than anybody else can. And Logan's on his motorcycle trying to get away. And Nightcrawler, he just bamf, trying to catch up to Logan. And he does. And he's basically right on Logan's back on the motorcycle. And we see, out of nowhere, that Nightcrawler gets shot with about 3 or 4 arrows in the back. I don't believe it kills him, but it does definitely wound the fella. And he hits the ground, and Logan keeps going. Logan only gets a few more feet down the road, and all of a sudden you see Cloak. Now, if you don't know, I don't remember the character that well, but he was part of a team called Cloak and Dagger. And I remember he's got teleportation powers. Dagger, I don't remember what her powers exactly were. If they were energy-based or something, I forget.
I don't recall.
But, so Cloak shows up, and he teleports Logan to like a hidden location where we see Luke Cage and several other people around him. And Luke is telling Logan, he's like, look, dude, you need to ditch that tracker. It's in your neck. Logan's like, what? Where the hell am I? What the hell is all this? He's like, I'm getting really mad. I'm getting really pissed off. He's like, this shit keeps happening to me, and nobody's giving me any explanations. And Luke tells him, like, look, you need to take that tracker out of the base of your neck so S.H.I.E.L.D. they can't find where you're at. And then we see a voice come from behind him, and he turns around and he's like, either you do it or I will. Logan turns around, and who's looking at him but Hawkeye, aiming an arrow right at his head. And Logan's like, what in the hell? Then we cut to chapter 4, our final chapter for today. Or issue 4, excuse me. And this one we open up at Castle Magnus. If he couldn't be any more pompous.
Hey.
Castle Magnus.
He was an internment camp prisoner. You remember that?
I understand that. But I think he forgot.
No, he didn't. That's why he has a castle.
Yeah, that's true. On Genosha, where he can look down on everybody else. So Magneto's looking over the balcony at Genosha, and it's beautiful. His castle is beautiful. All of Genosha is just beautiful. No destruction, no nothing. And this little boy runs up to him, and he's like, hey, Grandpa, look what I made for you with my mind. And it's like a little, not a little one, almost like a ship. Old ship with the sails and stuff, like you'd have in a bottle, you know. And he hands it to Magneto. Magneto takes the model ship away from him. Not in a bad way. He just takes it from him because he hands it to him. And I like what Coipel did here with art, because you see Magneto just stare at the boy, but his face is in black. You see no eyes. You see no nose, no mouth, no expression. You just see Magneto, but his face is painted black. So you don't know what his expression is. He's just like, he's a blank stare at the boy. And I'm like, Grandpa, I'm like, no. Cut back to Hell's Kitchen, where we left Logan with Luke Cage and Hawkeye. And we find out that Luke Cage is part of a resistance team. And I'm guessing most of the resistance team are humans. And they're against Magnus's rule and everything. And we're telling Logan, like, look, dude, take the tracker out now. And Hawkeye's like, dude, like, said, do it or I'll do it for you. And Hawkeye's like, fuck it. Shoots an arrow right into Logan's neck, base of his skull. And Luke jumps him. Dude, why did you do that? We would have got more information out of him because Luke thinks he's dead. He's like, why did you do that? There was no need in doing that. He was going to take it out. We could have, and then Logan you see Logan kind of his eyes, from his perspective, his eyes are blurry. He kind of opens his eyes. And one of the other people that's with Luke and them, she's like, he's awake. And Luke looks over at him. He's like, whoa. And Logan's like, how long have I been out? And they're like, 30 seconds-ish, give or take. And he's like, too damn late. Luke's like, too damn late for what? Boom. Big explosion happens. And these are cool designs. We see 2 Sentinels pop up. And instead of looking for mutants, they're looking for humans. I love the design of like their heads or their helmets. There's like etching designs into them. And I guess Magneto might have did that. I don't know. Because it kind of looks like it would be royal, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, you know? It just looks so cool. I love the designs that they have on there. So these 2 Sentinels, they show up and they start tracking the Sapiens. But Cloak, and they do start attacking, unfortunately, and some of the humans don't make it out. But Cloak is able to teleport a few of them uptown to this building. And they're like, where the hell did you take us, man? He's like, the only place I knew was empty, and the only place I knew was safe, Wilson Fisk's office. He ain't using it right now. It's the only place I could think of to bring us. So, like I said, they notice that not everybody survived, unfortunately. And then Logan starts explaining to Luke Cage what has happened. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you know, I was an Avenger. You were an Avenger. You know, this stuff happened with Wanda. She lost her mind. She blew up the mansion. She killed a lot of Avengers. We were going to go figure out what to do with her. This white light happened. And boom, I wake up and it's like this right here. And then he's like, yeah, we were trying to stop Magneto and his kids. And Hawkeye, Clint Barton, he's like, oh, you mean his 3 kids? You talking about Wanda, his human child? And Logan's like, what? Human? Yeah. Pietro, Lorna, and Wanda, his only human child. And Logan's like, no, she's not human. She's probably one of the most powerful mutants ever was. He's like, no, she's the human child. She's the human child. And he's like, look, he's like, oh God, this doesn't make sense. He's like, I don't understand. And he's like, you shouldn't be here. And Clint looks at him, he's like, why wouldn't I be here? He's like, because you were one of them that Wanda killed. Clint just looks at him. He's like, you go to hell. Turns around and leaves. I'm like, got to be blunt about it, I guess, you know. So Cage is like, surprisingly, Logan, I believe everything you just told me. And Logan's like, wait a minute, you believe me? Why would you believe me? I don't even believe myself and I'm saying these words. He's like, because up until just a few hours ago, this little girl showed up and told me the exact same thing you just did. And Logan goes over to her. He's like, honey, who are you? My name's Layla. He's like, you remember? She's like, mm-hmm. She's like, I was sleeping and then I woke up and everything was different. My parents were the same, but everything else in the world was different. I don't understand what happened. Well, you find out that this girl is a psychic mutant, kind of like Xavier and them, kind of, but she doesn't know it. And Logan's thinking about it. He's like, okay. He's like, wait a minute. Wanda gave us everything that we wanted. I got all my memories back because I hadn't been able to remember shit for the longest time. He's like, but I remember how old I am. I remember how much I weigh. I remember where I was born. He's like, that's what I've always wanted. He's like, that's what she did. He's like, oh Lord. And he's like, and they're all like, well, how would she know what we all wanted? And he's like, Charles. And so they decide that the only person they can get to help them is Emma. So they get Cloak to teleport them to Emma's house, or her apartment, excuse me. Nobody's home. Scott's gone to work, and she's still gone. Well, this is when Logan discovers that the little girl is a mutant, and he's like, honey, he's like, got something to tell you. you're a mutant.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, what? He's like, happy birthday. Happy birthday, baby. You're a mutant. Emma walks in. She's like, oh God, am I getting robbed?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you don't want to do this. And she basically uses her powers to kind of freeze them in place. And she's like, wait, you're Logan? What are you doing here? He's like, you can get in my mind. He's like, read it and find out. She's like, what? Wait, what? I don't understand. And then she looks over at the little girl, and then her eyes start glowing. And I guess she's reading the little girl's mind and Logan's as well. And when she's doing that, something snaps, I guess. And she's remembering everything now. Somehow reading both of their minds activated her mind again. Woke her up, as I wrote in my note. She was awakened. And we end this part of our story with her yelling Charles's name. And we see Charles, to me it looks like it's a cathedral or just a very, very fancy church. And he's surrounded by about 3 or 4 hooded figures. We don't know who they are at this moment. And he's sitting in a chair or wheelchair, and he's got a tear running down his eye. And that's how we end part 1 of our 2-part story of House of M.
Halfway point.
Dude, like I said, this was like a first time read again. I'm like, fuck, this is deep.
Yeah.
This is a good story. This is prime Bendis, in my opinion. And I've not read a lot of Bendis, only what you've let me borrow. This is prime Bendis, in my opinion. Like, from issue 1 to 4, there was never a slow beat. There was never a boring part where I stopped reading it. Like, I put one down, I picked the other one up, put the other one down, picked the other one up. Coipel's artwork's amazing. I love his artwork.
Love it.
I don't remember his name. I'm sure I've probably read something before that had his artwork in it. It just, if we rated stuff, I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the last 4. I'm sure it keeps the pace going. I forget these things. I think I know where it leads, but I'm not going to mention that till the next episode. But, yeah, if I had to rate these 4, I'd give it a 10 out of 10, man. I loved it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, I loved it, man. Like I said, prime Bendis, man. It is. And I don't got to ask your opinion, but we will anyway, 'cause that's what we do. How did you like it, man?
Well,
since you own it.
This is probably my, I don't know, 6th time reading it. And I don't usually reread the comics.
It's got such rereadability.
It does.
It does.
And it sets up almost 20 years of X-Men stories. So
I was getting ready to say, I kind of think I remember, but I'm not going to mention it yet, though.
So,
and again, of course, we got 4 more to go, so I'm probably going to see these other characters, but I hope to see more of Magneto's family, which I'm sure we will. And mainly, I'd like to see Lorna, but I don't remember if she's in here or not. Because she's one character that I feel was probably more in either X-Men books or Avengers books. I don't know a lot about her. I know that she's got similar powers to Magneto, magnetic powers, and her and Havoc were an item.
They were.
At some point in the comics, I believe.
She was a lot more invested in X Factor. So
okay, it was X Factor thing?
Peter David's, his run.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
She was a big character in that. And with Multiple Man.
Multiple Man. Okay, cool.
So,
I don't know. I didn't look up prices on this. I'm assuming it's not too pricey, and I'm sure there's probably trades out there.
Oh yeah, there's trades, and if you get them individually, they're like $6 a piece, like average. So
the main story is 8 issues. You don't have to get the tie-ins unless you just really like a specific character that they did the tie-ins for, and the tie-ins were usually, I don't remember, 4 to 6 issues each or something like that.
Yeah,
I got the Spider-Man one because I was really interested in what they did with Spidey in this this reality. So you don't need it. I feel you do definitely need to read Avengers Disassembled. I think was it Chaos it's called?
Yeah.
You definitely need that.
It is the main Avengers book. They actually ended it and restarted it after this.
Okay.
So
you definitely do need to read Avengers Disassembled before you read House of M because it sets everything up like Shaun said at the beginning of the episode. And then you can just read the 8 issues here and you're good.
Yeah.
If you want the tie-ins, like I said, I don't remember how many were made. Several, I'm pretty sure.
We'll go through. I'll do some research. I'll get you a list, and then we'll talk about the aftermath on the next episode.
Yeah, for sure. So, I don't think we had any viewer stuff. I don't remember if we did or not. Did you have anything?
No, I just asked if
viewers?
people liked it, and it was a unanimous yes.
Yeah. It's probably, and I'm not a big reader I never have been a big reader of X-Men or Avengers, period. But this was, I remember this being a huge deal in the Marvel Universe, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a huge deal. I don't know. Let me see real quick here.
And what got me to these comics, because, I want to say it was either after, it was probably after X2. I'd watched it and I was talking to a dude. I was like, man, I really love Magneto. He goes, dude, you got to read this comic. And I thought this comic was 10 years old or something.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was just a few months after it came out. And then it just set me on a path down to the dark side, because I picked up every single book that came out after these for 2 years.
Yeah, I was going to say you were big. You were already an X-Men fan.
Mm-hmm. But I like the cartoon and the movie, but damn, as soon as I read this,
that catapulted you into super fan.
Oh yeah,
for the X-Men.
Instantly.
Only thing I can find at the moment is Dustin from Flicks and Friends and B Action. He's like, Magneto was right. I'm not. What?
Yep. Every time.
What? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. I'm getting the shirt.
It's just gonna drown me.
No. No, it won't.
How do you know?
Well, because it can't all be sorrow, can it? I've always been alone, so I don't feel the lack. It's all I've ever known. I've never experienced loss because I've never had a loved one to lose. But what is grief, if not love persevering?
Real quick, I'm going to put this out there, and I think we've mentioned it before. Sometime this year, maybe within the next few months, we're going to do listener requests. It may be a month, it may be 2 months. Because, we usually put about 2 or 3 episodes out a month, depending on how things fall. I'm not going to tell you what has been requested, but I will tell you who has requested a couple of things. Our friend Pete from Good Beer, Bad Movies and Give Me Back My Action Horror Movies have requested a couple of books. Pete, they're ordered and they're on the way to my house soon. Hopefully next week they'll get here. And Dustin from Flicks and Friends and B Action and the Baron's Hideout has also done a request. And we're going to try our best to see if we can find an issue or two of that book that he was talking about. And we'll try to cover that too. So if anybody's out there that wants to be a part of listener request, shoot us, on any of our socials, our email, of something that you would like to maybe hear us try to cover, that you really like, that meant something to you. And we'll do our best to find it, whether it's physically or online. Hell, we may even own it. We don't know. Like I've said 100 times between me and Shaun, we own a lot of comic books.
If it's X-Men, I probably got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's X-Men, you probably got it. Or Turtles, you probably got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys out there, if you got any requests that you want us to try to cover, please don't be shy. Discord, email, Facebook, Instagram. Shoot us something. And like I said, we'll do our best to cover it for you guys. And if we get some good if we get some good participation, this may be a thing that we do more often. It's something we're just going to try, get a little participation by our fans and by our listeners, because we love you guys. We love you listening to us and, supporting us, through this little venture that we do. So, let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else. I guess we'll get into the house cleaning real quick and then we'll talk about the next episode, which we kind of done did. But if you guys want to reach us and send us those requests, like I said, we have a Discord, which is free. You can get on there and talk about anything you want to talk about. We have a Facebook. We have an Instagram. We also have an email, geekswithbeardspod @gmail.com. Send in text, audio, whatever you want to do, video, whatever you want to do, to talk to us like that. We're available on any of the platforms out there for podcasts. Please, if you like what you hear, give us 5 stars, and a good, and a review, good or bad, give us a review. We're also got a YouTube channel where we do, toy reviews and my little thing, Dan's Comic Corner. It's a YouTube exclusive where I talk about current comics that I'm collecting.
G.I. Joe should drop today.
Awesome. Yes. If you haven't checked it out, I say give it a shot. If you like new comic books that's come out like that, and it is just the stuff that I collect, so it's going to be only certain titles. I'm sorry. It is only going to be certain titles. But I think they're fun. And if you got any comments below those videos, please put them in there. What you think about my little videos? What you think about the books that I cover? And we also have these episodes here, our main episodes up for your listening pleasure on our YouTube channel as well. So I think that's all that I have. Shaun, if you'll lead us out with what we're going to be talking about next time.
Well, next time we're going to continue our journey through the House of M. We'll be doing issues 5 through 8, and then I'll talk a little bit about what happens after that.
Yes. And like Shaun said, this probably affected 20 years worth of...
Oh, it did.
Not just X-Men and Avengers, but Marvel in general.
Yeah.
For a good little while.
It was a huge deal. It was probably bigger than the Age of Apocalypse stuff.
Ooh. I was going to say that. Yeah, that was a big hit, too, in the early years of Marvel.
Yeah.
So yeah, until we come back at you with issues 5 through 8 of House of M, have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.
Geeks with Beards. Podcast.